Let's look at how to change ownership of files and directories. The command that helps us to do that is change ownership or chown. In the current folder we have a file.txt and a folder log_folder. Every file and folder has a owner, that is a user, and a group associated with it. For this particular file, the owner is the user topcat, and the group associated with the file is the group called users, and the same for the folder. The owner or the user and the group is assigned permissions, and the permissions are visible on the left. For the owner, it is the first set of 3, and here we can see that the owner of the file can read and write but not execute the file. The group has permissions indicated by the second set of 3, and here we can see that the group has read but no write and execute permissions, which means that any user belonging to this group will have this set of permissions, which is only read. Let's say that we want to assign this particular file or change the ownership of this file to this user. The way we do that is sudo, so that we have the privilege to change ownership of a file, and the command is chown. What is the target user? The target user. And what is the file? file.txt. If we were to run this and supply the root password when prompted, we can see that we have changed the owner of the file to Hari, and the group is still users. So now the first set of 3 permissions, which is read and write, is applicable to only this user. As topcat, if we were to write some data to the file, it will fail with permission denied. The reason for that is the file now belongs to this user, and that user has the read and write permissions. The user topcat was the previous owner of that file. This particular user belongs to the group called users, but that group does not have write permissions on the file, and that is why it still fails even if the user topcat belongs to this particular group. So that's with changing ownership to a different user. Let's say that we want to change the ownership back to topcat, but also change the group to Docker. The way we do that is sudo chown. We mention the user, the target user that should own the file, and the group separated by a colon, and we run it on that file. And if we look at the permissions now, we can see that the owner of the file has changed to topcat, and the group associated with the file has changed to Docker, which means that this particular user is now back as the owner, so that user can read, write to that file, and anyone belonging to Docker can read from that file. So that's changing the owner and group of a file. Let's say that we want to change the permissions of all the contents of the folder recursively. We can use change ownership. The way we do that is with the -r flag, and we can mention the user and let's say the group separated by a colon, and we mention the folder. So this will recursively apply the ownership to this user and the group to VBox users for the folder and all the contents recursively. So if we were to run this and look at log folder, we can see that the permissions have changed, the owner has changed, and the group to which that folder belongs has also changed. So that particular user's permission is the first 3 bits on the folder, and the group's permission is the second set of 3. And if we were to look at the contents of the folder, we can see that the permissions have been applied recursively because of the -r flag, and we can see that the user is Hari and the group is VBox users. So that's changing ownership and the group both for files and folders.